That was a stupid move. I'll admit to that. Alright. Please excuse, the everything, the appearance, the hair, the fact that I'm not wearing pants, the fact that I've been gone for a couple of weeks. In my defense, I moved across the country, which means that my life is in shambles and I have quit 2 jobs, but hopefully I will stay with my third one because I think I will like it better than the other 2. Help me. So after watching Barbie: A Fashion Fairy Tale, I've been thinking about Barbie movies and the multi-universe and specifically the Barbie multi-universe, because why would I talk about multiverse of madness when I can talk about Barbie cinematic universe? Clearly, there are more important things going on, and it's how all the Barbie movies relate to each other. But to do that, I need to go over from where it all starts, because the one thing that everyone can agree on is that Barbie, the magic of the Pegasus, is where everything begins. Okay? It's where everything begins. Now, Barbie of the Magic of the Pegasus, I watched this movie as a child, and I'm pretty sure I had one of the Barbies, and I'm pretty sure I also had one of the horses too, but I can't remember quite clearly. It's been a while. I do remember it being, like, the movie that I would watch when I was sick. So like 90% of it felt like a fever dream and like really weird. And then I watched it when I was not sick and probably high on cough medication, and it's still really fucking weird. It moves so fast, so slow, and yet nothing's explained. I think the main princess name is Annika, but I can barely remember that. All we need to know is that this is Barbie. Barbie is the main character, and Barbie is a princess, alright? And she wears pants because she's a cool, modern-ish princess. I don't know. Barbie is not there on the first scene. What has happened to Barbie? We don't know. Everyone's looking for Barbie. Where is she? What's going on? Turns out she's an ice skater. The only thing I know about ice skating is Yuri on Ice. And I'm pretty sure I had like 1 ice skating lesson and then fell on my ass. So I don't know how ice skating works. But I'm assuming they're correct, because Barbie, why wouldn't Barbie be correct about ice skating? She is rebelling against her family by going out and skating on a pond, which is, I don't know, that's kind of like the most boring rebellion that like I can think of. Like, if anything, the most rebellious thing I did was be trans. That's a little bit more of a rebellion, but I guess, to each their own. Some people are gay and some people do a little ice dance. She's out ice skating. The fucking little polar bear cub tumbles out of nowhere. This polar bear cub has some issues because it is freezing in the snow despite being a polar bear and a bear. It just can't handle the cold, which is probably why it got abandoned by his parents. FYI, this polar bear cub's an orphan. We don't see its parents, so we kind of just assume that they died. And so Barbie's doing her little dance, but she's suddenly forgotten how to jump despite doing it multiple times before. Fucking trips over the polar bear, and then it's like, what if I just take it? But so she just snatches him like little white woman behavior and just leaves. She goes back home. She tries to sneak back into the castle. They're like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And Barbie is like, why? And they're like, we can't tell you anything. Despite the fact that you're 16 years old and supposed to take over the kingdom, we cannot tell you why you are not allowed to go outside. And she's like, well, you're terrible parents. You don't understand anything, and you're ruining my life. It's also her birthday. So she just turned 16 years old. I can't blame her for actually running out to escape if this is what her birthday is like. It's just her parents getting mad at her. But yeah, she goes up to have a tantrum. The bear apparently understands how to put on clothes, and the clothes are suspiciously bear size. Barbie is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm actually gonna go outside again for the second time this day, despite the fact that, like, you'd think that there'd be guards posted on like the doors and shit, that way she doesn't escape. But apparently her parents are dumb, so she just takes her skates, which are just not even locked up. They're just hanging there. She takes them and just fucking goes. She joins the birthday party that the townspeople are throwing for her because they actually give a fuck, and she goes out and skates around, and then the town peoples are like, oh my god, it's the fucking princess, and she's still doing her little dance until a boy bumps into her. Now keep in mind, alright, this boy is important. This boy, his name is Eric. Just hold on to that. A future video. Again, Barbie multi-universe. Until a magical green cloud appears, just floating in the sky. Now keep in mind, because Barbie is an idiot, she does not realize that there is a magical green cloud. And again, the townspeople see it, but she doesn't because she's so fucking dumb. Prize Warlock and a Griffin all fly down, and they are all spooky and pointy, which means that they're the bad guys, obviously. And this Warlock, who has to be like 60 years old, is like, hey baby, what's up? To this actual 16 years old. There's like a 40-year age gap. Minimum. And Barbie's like, what the fuck? Like, don't hit on me. Like, that's a fucking weird ass. And he's like, no, actually, I'm gonna make it worse. I'm gonna ask you to marry me, because child marriage is apparently legal. The king and queen show up and are like, you can't do that. No. Please, no, don't take our daughter. Instead of being like, hey guys, try to kill this fucking dude. They're like, no, Mr. Warlock, sir, please don't kill our baby girl. She's a child. But he's like, actually, I'm gonna drop a bomb and be like, well, it's been 16 years. I couldn't marry your last daughter, so I'm gonna marry this one. And Barbie's like, what the fuck? Then he's like, actually, because you rejected me, Barbie, I'm going to turn your family and your townspeople into ice, so they're not ice statues. And he's like, alright, you got an ultimatum. You got 3 days to marry me, otherwise everybody is ice forever. And Barbie's like, well, shit. But then Pegasus swoops down, alright? Pegasus comes out of nowhere, swoops down, picks her up, and flies her off into the clouds. So she has the ultimatum. She has a magical Pegasus. She's in the clouds away from the Warlock. The Warlock does not try to chase after the Pegasus, despite the fact that he is a griffin. But alright, he wants the drama of it all and is also a fucking creep. The Pegasus tells Barbie that the Warlock has an all-powerful wand, and that's why no one's been able to defeat him or to fight him, because he can do just about anything, except for hit on women his own age. But Barbie is like, okay, how the fuck do you know all this? Like, who the fuck are you? What's going on? What about my sister? And the Pegasus is like, well, I am a friend. But it's kind of like a real suspicious and shit, which obviously means that she is more than just a friend. Barbie and the Pegasus fly up to the castle in the clouds, because you know, magic just casually exists, and sometimes you can just have a castle in the middle of the clouds, and that's absolutely fine, right? So the Cloud Queen, the Queen of the Clouds, what the fuck happened? And the horse and Barbie explained the last 11 minutes. And then Barbie is like, I'm kind of cold, actually. Can I get, like, something more to wear than, like, a nice... Okay. And the queen is like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll let you wear my corsets. It's all good. So the scene changes, and we see color-coded triplets braiding the Pegasus's hair. And Barbie comes out in her new little dress to sell a new little doll. And then the triplets are all talking until one of them drops a bomb. The Pegasus is actually Barbie's sister. Which means, honestly, Barbie should have, like, been more confused. Like, the fact that, like, her sister's a horse. She just kind of was like, well, I guess my sister's a horse. The little fucking creepy warlock-ass dude came in when, like, the sister, Brietta? I'm gonna be honest, I really don't remember. I'm so fucking bad with names, holy shit. I really should have made more notes on, like, character names, but I didn't, because for some reason I just didn't think that it would matter. Creepy ass warlock dude tried to marry the horse sister 16 years ago, but because his advances were rejected, he turned sister into a horse sister. So the sister is now a horse. And then he came back 16 later because they decided to have another kid instead of trying to, like, find their fix for the horse sister. I don't understand Barbie's parents. Anyways, they're kind of the dumbest motherfuckers on the entire. So the horse sister left because she made her parents feel like shit, and the parents left into a secluded castle to hide away from the warlock, but he still found them anyways. I don't know what they were thinking. They really should have gotten more magical people. Barbie is like, well, you're the Cloud Queen. Can you do anything? And she's like, no, I cannot. I don't do shit. I just have clothes and a castle. And Barbie's like, well, fuck. Because the triplets are only because the triplets are the only smart people in this movie, they're like, hold on a minute. What about the fucking, what is it? The Wand of Light, that's the bitch. Yeah, what about the Wand of Light? What won't that work? The horse sister and the queen are like, yeah, well, that's a fairy tale. You're not supposed to believe in those, gosh. But Barbie's like, you know what, fuck it, I have no other options at this point. So like, what's the wand of light? And the Cloud Queen gives a riddle instead of answers. And then Barbie's like, why didn't anyone else try to find this before? And the horse sister is like, nah, bitch, I fucking tried. I couldn't find shit. And Barbie's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking try it. And the horse sister's like, all right, fine, I guess. The triplets, they actually are the reason why the sunset happens. Barbie convinces the horse sister to go and help them find the wand of light. So they fly down into the Forbidden Forest, not from Harry Potter. Completely different Forbidden Forest. There's no Harry Potter castle. A quick thing about the creepy wizard, he has 3 little troll women that follow him around. Also, he's a dick, but we kind of already knew that. But yeah, so Barbie and the horse sister in the middle of the abandoned forest. They're walking around trying to find shit, trying to find this stick of courage, staff of hope, something like that. I don't know. So the little bear cubs, who's still with them, by the way, kind of falls down a hole because she's a dumbass. And they're like, well, shit, I guess we have to go find after the bear cub. And then they fall into little nets, get pulled up, and they're hanging, and they're like, well, fuck. And then this mysterious stranger man walks out of the wood and is like, you are not food. So he cuts them down, effectively ruining the nets. But he was like, what the fuck are y'all doing there? And they're like, we're looking after the wand of light, but I have to go save my bear cub. So Barbie jumps down the hole, and the horse sister stays with the horse sister stays with the mysterious stranger. So she slides down into a little soup pot. Alright, she slides in a little soup pot, and the bear is there, and they're like, well, we're fucked. And then this ogre, giant fucking dude-ass, starts throwing whole vegetables into the soup with leaves and everything, because apparently he doesn't know how to cut things up. But I guess if he's like a giant, they're probably like little bite-sized to him anyways. But yeah, he kind of just like bites into an onion, it's like, hey, my breath is stinky. And Barbie's like, you know what I can do? Actually, I'm going to challenge him with a fake fictional ogre, because these guys do not know their own neighbors. And she's like, he's super strong and tough and great. So she gets him to kick down his door and then wrap a chain around himself and tie himself to a post. And then she takes her ribbon in her hair. She has a hair ribbon, by the way. She takes the ribbon in her hair, turns it into like a little lasso, hooks it around the edge of the pot, climbs up the ribbon, which is apparently very strong. What fabric is this ribbon made out of? She used that, takes the bear with her, runs out the open door that the man kicked down, and is like, bye. And the giant is like, well, shit. And he breaks out of the chain and tries to chase after her, but then the house falls down on top of him. And he's like, well, I have bigger problems to worry about. Barbie finds her sister again and the other woodman, and is like, sup, bitch? And Barbie is like, men. No. And he's like, alright. And then the horse sister is like, oh my god, the ribbon that you used to help escape, it's like your height. So it's like a measure of courage. That's the word. That's what they're looking for, a measure of courage. So it's a measure because it's as tall as her. It's a measuring tape of courage, but it's just a really strong ass ribbon. Once that's said, the ribbon is like, and magics itself into a little staff shit. And the woodman is like, okay, what the fuck was that? And the bear is like, I like boys. And they don't really like talk about it, but I guess because magic's just accepted in this world, like things can turn into other things at will. And so the woodman is like, okay, I'm actually out of here. So he turns away to go walk away. And then Barbie sees his sword. It's like, oh my god, your sword is so cool. I needed to pop in right quick to mention that it's his actual sword that he has on his hip and not his dick. Who made it? And he's like, I did. And then by some magic logic, or by the fact that she has tits and is hot, and all men love Barbie, he's like, all right, fine, I guess I'll join your group because pretty lady. So you're from around here. Like, where do we find a gem lit with like the spark of fire and eternal dawn? And he's like, fuck if I know, but I do know a guy. They go out of the Forbidden Forest to go meet this guy who's like just a really suspicious Santa Claus, or like a reverse Santa Claus. Instead of giving people gifts, he takes away their gifts. The suspicious Santa is like, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm gonna need some payment to actually, remember. And Barbie's like, you know what, I don't got anything on me, but I do have like neon pink ice skates, and the suspicious Santa is like, all right, that'll work, and then tells her all about like the gem of fire mixed with her map, and they're like, all right, cool, let's go. Nothing bad will happen. Clearly this is a one-off character that does not mean anything in the future. They all get stuck in a snowstorm because there's like the 5 of them, like the 2 horses, the bear, and the 2 people. All right, they get stuck in a snowstorm, and the horse sister is like, bro, can we like fucking stop? Like, I'm exhausted. And Barbie's like, no, we cannot stop. We have things to do. We have places to be. Like, bitch, we gotta find this fucking gemstone before our time's run out and everybody turns to ice. The woodman is like, bro, you've been riding your sister all day. Oh my god, those words just came out of my mouth. We're gonna skip over that as quickly as possible. Anyways, she gets guilted into actually stopping, and they go into a little cave, and they have a little fire, and they have a little bonding moment. Arden? Fucking, I don't know, mystery woodman is like, this is my tragic backstory. They all have a little sleep, and they wake up in the morning. Barbie is at the crack ass of dawn because she has things to do. She has places to be. She looks out over the dawn and sees a tower, and the tower is shiny. She's like, you know what? That's where it is. That's where the fucking gemstone of ice and fire, lit by love and eternity. I'm just making up words at this point. And she is like, that's where it is. Hey sister, can you fly me over there? So they all go, including the bear cub, because the bear cub is just like glitter. You just can't get rid of it. It just does not stay put. So they go all down. They find a little cave with all the gemstones, and I think the rules are like, take what you need, but not from greed, that kind of thing. So Barbie's like, all right, I need this shit, and she takes it, and then she turns around and she sees the mysterious wood stranger take one, and she's like, uh-oh, but nothing happens. And then the bear takes some. And then shit starts breaking and falling down, so they're like, well, fuck. And they run out of there as fast as possible. And now that they actually escaped the cave in the nick of time, they go back into their other cave, the cave that they were sleeping in. And they're like, wow, we got the gem and we got the little staff, but you know what? We don't have the ring of friendship. They're like, we don't have the ring shit. And they're like, well, it's okay. And then Aiden, we're going with Aiden. His name is not Aiden, I've renamed him. Aiden takes out his sword and is like, well, fuck it. I got metal. We're gonna bring this into a ring. And Barbie's like, no, what if we need to actually use your sword to stab somebody? No one else has a sharp pointing object. And then the horse is like, I have a crown. That's like kind of ring shaped. And she's like, I would rather y'all use that because, fair warning, this crown is the only thing that allows her to see herself as a human being if she looks into a mirror, if she has it on. But she's like, I don't have to be human again if it means that everybody else can get what they want. So she's like, all right, take my crown, magics itself into a ring, but instead of these 3 items magicking themselves into a little wand of light or whatever, they have to be forged together in a campfire, or the campfire has to turn into a forge fire to forge the items together. I don't think this fire is quite as hot as it needs to be, but we're just going to, again, ignore this. And then Barbie is like, all right, I know we're all like trapped on this little mountain, and it was really hard to get up here with like only a couple of people, but you know the best idea was is to take away the only bitch that can fly. And she's like, I'm gonna turn you back into a girl. So she points the wand at her sister and says like, well, we're not fucking horsing around. And her sister turns back to human sister now. Her sister is like 16. Despite the fact that it's been 16 years since she's turned. So I'm pretty sure like the mental age has got to be like fucked for her. I am so sorry. Barbie and her sister are like, well shit, how the fuck do we get down? Because Aiden's already like gone off and is like, peace bitches, I got places to be. So they're like, fuck, we forgot about that, we didn't think this through. But then the magic sister, the Barbie sister, wait, fuck, Pegasus, former Pegasus sister is like, I still have my little emergency call to the Cloud Queen, who apparently can do something for the first time in this entire movie, and she sends down 2 Pegasuses. Finally, both of them have color coordinated horses. So they get on the Pegasuses and are like, all right, let's go face off against Wenlock. That's him, Wenlock. That's the creepy ass dude. Yeah, they go, but turns out Wenlock comes down on his griffin and starts chasing around and shooting them with magical lasers. And these lasers graze the Pegasuses that they're on, and the sister falls down to the ground. And Barbie's like, well, shit, no, that's my sister. We can't just lose her now. So she flies gone after her. Now everyone's on the ground. She points the wand at the creepy ass dude and is like, fucking die. But that apparently doesn't work, which is sad because I would rather glad that it did work. I think Barbie should have a sword and be allowed to kill people. Since the uber duper magical wand of light did not kill this weird ass fucking dude, which makes it kind of fucking useless, he's like, well, it's mine now. And Barbie's like, all right, fine. To save everybody that I love, I'll marry you. And the creepy ass dude is like, no, and sticks her in an island of snow. And then causes an avalanche. And now she is buried under snow. We got our savior here. See, the polar bear cub again. Can't fucking get rid of her. Wakes up the sister and is like, hey, look, Barbie's under a pile of snow. We got an issue. But instead of the sister digging her out, blacksmith boy immediately shows up and is like, uh-oh, shit, that's my girl. And he starts to dig out Barbie while the sister kind of just stands there watching, not even helping. She's just standing there. So turns out her only use was being a horse, which is kind of fucking awkward. But hey, at least this movie passes the Bechdel test. Does it? Do Barbie movies pass the Bechdel test? Anyways, back to the main plot. So they leave Aiden's horse apparently in the snow, I guess, and they use the Pegasuses to fly up to the Cloud Queen's castle, so that Barbie can recover from her hypothermia in a colder place. I don't fucking know how hypothermia works, and I could Google it, but I will not. But yeah, so Barbie wakes up and she's fine, and she's like, you're so cute. But uh-oh, fuck. The sunset's happening, and we only got a couple hours to defeat this fucking dude. And the Twiplets are like, we got a plan. We're the only bitches in this place that got a single brain cell and we share between the three of us. We won't go make the sunset slow. Which I guess, because it's magic, fuck it, make the sunset slow. If that'll work, that'll work. So Barbie and Aiden show up. So Barbie and Fake Ken show up at Wenlock's castle, and they're like, haha, at least we can both ice skate. So they put on their skates, and then they skate dance across this loop-de-loop-de slide with thinly iced sexual tension. That was really bad. Yeah, also, it's really weird that this entire castle is built for people to, like, ice skate in. I don't know, I just think that's a really bad design. Unless you want your castle to be broken into, and then I guess it's good design. Skating around, and they're going up the stairs, but the troll women spot them in secret. But then the griffin spots them. And faces off again, it's Aiden who has a sword. So we're really glad that Aiden did not melt his sword down into a ring. And Barbie chases after the sparkle-obsessed bear bitch, who they brought along for some reason, who finds piles of gold and tries to put them on immediately. And Barbie's like, fuck no, you can't do that. You're gonna blow our cover. But then the griffin knocks over Fake Ken into the ocean, and I guess he's fucking dead. And the creepy man is around, and he thought he heard something, but he got distracted by the griffin. Aiden dying is the only reason that Barbie is still alive, so she's like, fuck. They do find the wand, but the gem skids off into the ocean. So they only got the staff and the bear and no boyfriend. But look who's coming up, who's crawling up. It's the boyfriend. He's not fucking dead. And Barbie's like, well, shit, that's great, but we can't do shit without the gem. And he's like, I have the other one. And he puts it on. And now they got the wand of light again. But then that's when the creepy ass pedo dude shows up and is like, no, that's mine. And takes it back, and it falls into one of the troll women's hands. And he's like, you get to die now, actually. But Barbie is like, actually, I'm going to be not a dick to these random women, and I will ask them to give me the wand back politely so that I can free them. And the troll women are like, who do we want to go side with? A weird ass fucking dude who's probably been abused us for years to go, or Barbie? Leave your comments down below. Who will you do pick? Weird ass pedo man? Barbie. Obviously, they choose Barbie. Who wouldn't? It's Barbie. Also, it is revealed that these troll women are his former wives that he turned into trolls, which means that he kind of probably has a kink for turning people into other things. That's kind of on him. That's kind of weird. Like, not to kink shame, but I do mean to kink shame. But yeah, Barbie gets the wand back, and she does a little magical girl transformation, gets into her pretty sparkly dress, and's like, nah, fucking bitch, we're redoing this shit. And they have a wand battle where they both cast a single spell, and then they have to power to the death to figure out which spell will win. And Barbie wins. Her little pink sparkle bubble expands, and everything turns back to the way it was before weird ass pedo man cast spells on everything. Which is pretty good. Anyways, he's ugly. Still fucking ugly. But now he has less cool clothes. Which he probably deserves. Actually, he probably deserves death. But alas, this is a Barbie movie, so they cannot actively murk someone on screen. However, if I was to do a rewrite, I would have him... Her spell wins, her pink little bubble expands, everyone is people again, no one is ice or trolls, and Barbie looks at the women and is like, you got this? And they're like, we got this, and they kill him. They kill the creepy man. I don't care if it's not canon, I've decided that they kill him. Barbie goes back to the palace, is like, hey, sorry about that, but I fixed it, I did it, will you let me out of the house more? And they're like, holy shit, you're still alive. And she's like, you know who else is alive? And she reveals her sister to her parents, and they're like, oh my god, we have 2 daughters that are the same age despite being 16 years apart. But anyways, they're like, well, yeah, that's our bad. We probably should have told you about that before. That way you would have less issues with that. That way you would have less issues with that if we actually communicated more. Communication goes a long way, people. Goes a long way, especially if your older sister has turned into a horse. Yeah, everybody hugs, they're all having a good time, they're doing much better. Aiden sews back up to his parents. I remember his tragic backstory. He essentially ran away from his parents because he gambled away all their money. It's not really that tragic, he's just a dumbass. But he shows back up and his parents are like, oh holy shit, you're not fucking dead? We thought you died, dumbass. And he's like, ha 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 ha, that's my bad. Yeah, so but in return, I did start dating a princess. So is that emotional compensation for your son disappearing for who knows how many years? And they're like, actually, we don't actually get to see the response. It actually immediately switches to Barbie and not Ken doing a little dance on ice in the clouds. And that's the end of the movie. I mean, there's bloopers and shit, but it's fucking weird, alright? It's weird. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's a decent movie, but it's just, everything just gets thrown at you. Just oddly and randomly, and like there's no story to base this off of, at least not that I remember. Like, it's a major part of my childhood, despite the fact that I could barely remember anything on my recent rewatching as an adult, but I fucking loved it. Like, it's great, it's a good time. Like, it's a 9 out of 10 because nothing can beat Princess and the Pauper. But the majority of the reason why I was talking about this movie is because it starts the Barbie cinematic universe, and that is very important, and that is what we will be going over next week. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate you listening to me ramble about probably nothing for who knows how long. Thank you so much for dropping by. Remember to take your medication, drink your water, get something to eat, and go to sleep eventually. And I will see you guys all next week. Bye.